This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook. I'm so excited to be here live at Collision, the #1 web tech conference in the world. I don't know how many years I've been here, Michael, but I have Michael Lee. He's an amazing content creator. But the reason I wanted to know him is this is Entrepreneurs, the Playbook, and entrepreneurs come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and ages. And I am completely inspired by young entrepreneurs who understand their essence and how to monetize that and build a business around their essence.
Definitely.
So the first question I have is, what inspired you to get started at such a young age? Is it inherently in your nature, or has it been the nurture?
It's been I think it's been a little bit of both. I got it from my family. My mom and dad, they both were business owners, and I always kind of felt like I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what it was yet. And then that's when I kind of, started going on social media, and I started seeing these people making a career out of their passion. And that's where I was like, why can't I have the best of both worlds? So I started dancing in 2012, and by 2015, I was a professional choreographer, and that's when I started to take a step into social media and became one of social media's first dancers.
Yeah, one of the best and first dancers, which is super cool. Now, my kids are entrepreneurial. Obviously, I'm entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And I asked them, and I'm going to ask you the same question, was there any time watching the life of an entrepreneur that you said, F this, that looks way too hard, way too painful?
Never. I think that there was a lot of quotes or different speeches from other successful actors and people that I looked up to, that they were kind of just saying, Jim Carrey, for example, I would rather try at something that I love and fail at it than doing something I don't love where I could still fail at that, so I'd rather try at something that I can actually enjoy and be successful with, opposed to not even trying at all. So yeah.
And so dancing obviously is one of your inherent passions. So I talk about people have quantum nature, and that's why we walk by a certain food at the fair and we're like, oh my God, that looks delicious, and the guy next to us is like, dude, that's disgusting. And neither of you have ever tried it.
Yeah.
And that's what dance or sport or music, whatever people are into, I believe it's quantum in your nature. And then we pursue what we have the highest potential of and the highest basement for. At what point did you realize, man, everything around dance and choreography I love?
It was literally the first day.
Yeah.
I was kind of a timid and shy guy, and the first day I took a dance class or a dance lesson, I saw how much I improved in just that short amount of time, and it kind of gave me my first sense of self-confidence, self-love towards myself, and I wanted to explore that more. And the more that I kind of indulged myself in that culture of dance, I started to figure out who I was as a person, and that really, that spoke with me.
And one of the problems or issues that entrepreneurs have, and I do and coach a lot of very high-level entrepreneurs and executives, is they can never overachieve their own self-image. And so as much as they'll try and not mind failing, they're constantly limiting themselves. And looking at your career at such a young age, there's certain people that just don't have that inherently of oh, I'll just be a choreographer, right? I'll just be one of the world's greatest dancers, content creators, entrepreneurs, and yet, how old are you now?
23.
Exactly. And you're still not limiting yourself. What do you think that mindset difference is of people, no matter what level they are, have some sort of cap on their dream compared to their actions?
I think every playbook is different. I feel that as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, I don't put a timeline on anything. And for kind of where I'm at right now, I know that my risks are going to get higher as I get older. So might as well take the risk now, because, I don't want to have a life of regret, and I don't want to go based off of that, because I know that could be very fearful.
It's so funny you say that, because in my mid-30s, I lost over $100 million, went bankrupt. I was running the most notable sports agency in the world, married to my dream girl, 3 daughters and a pregnant wife, and people were freaking out around me. But since I've been young, I was a millionaire 9 months out of law school. Since I've been young, it was the same way. It's like, if I'm going to screw this up, I want to have plenty of time to learn from my screw ups so I can even be better.
Definitely.
And I think my confidence when I lost everything was more terrifying to my wife than me losing everything, because it scared her that I could have that great vision. For you, if I took away everything you had, not your skills and your knowledge or your desire, but
Yeah.
if I took away all the economic gain, all the followers, all the ambassadors, all the fame, all your money, would you have that type of confidence?
Definitely. I don't think that your value's based off of only what you've done, but it's in yourself, you know? Like, I'm a big believer that when I first started social media, I said to myself, I was like, I'm going to make it. I just have to continue pushing, and it's eventually going to work out. I think having the belief in yourself is going to play out in the long term, because no one's going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And I kind of always had that mindset. And I think that even to this day, like, even if things change and I feel like I'm not, say, as successful as I was a year or two ago, I think that if I shift my focus and I have this new belief or this new passion of mine I want to push for, then even if it takes 3 to 4 years, there's no time limit on it, you know? I'm going to just kind of push through that.
You know what I find extraordinary about you that I didn't have when I was your age, even though I had financial success, is your idea about time, especially considering, you know, a lot of what you do is in social media, just like a lot of what I do. But I see so many people, especially your age, in social media wanting instant gratification.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to be a part of you or your perspective from the time you were young. I mean, not that you're not young now.
I would say I think I actually went through it in the last 2 years, because
Okay.
I you know, in the first 5 years of social media, I was a gradual grower. I kind of focused on my craft, you know, didn't pay too much attention to it. But then I had my major shot of success in 2019 when TikTok really pushed out, and my life completely changed from that. And I think having it shoot up so much and like having an environment change so fast around me, like I kind of started making that the expectation. And then now kind of coming down from that high and now like looking at reality, because obviously things change so fast. I think I had to go through that myself for me to really learn what it really meant, because I feel like you can tell someone as much knowledge, but I think until they actually go through it themselves, that's when they kind of truly understand it. And that's where I feel like I've gone through that, and that's, so I wouldn't say I was like always like that, but I definitely learned faster knowing that behind in the background.
One of the other things you do well is you seem to know what you want today, at least in a trajectory of what you think you want in the future.
Definitely.
I'm curious, I have another step to that, which is who you can help and who can help you.
Yeah.
How much of who you can help and who can help you has defined your journey so far?
Massively. I mean, like my next chapter in life is to really change how the dance world is looked at and give more opportunities to the dancers that are a part of it, because I've been there. I've been a part of how successful you can become as a dancer, and I've seen through my friends and my peers, and I've realized that there's something that has to change with it. And, you know, to be able to make a monumental change in a world that has completely changed my life is like kind of like now my purpose of what I want to do for the next, you know, 5, 10, 20 years of my life.
And what platform do you consume the most content on yourself?
Now it's YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
And what type of content do you consume?
I consume I consume a lot of tech AI videos.
Yeah, right on. Me too.
I have a lot of news videos I watch, and then storytelling. I
No
love
dance.
storytelling. Dancing, I watch less of that on YouTube. I'm trying to bring that onto YouTube, but I think when it comes to dance, it's more onto TikTok and the short form platforms.
Yeah.
But it's kind of now on where I'm focusing on my own craft now, opposed to too much others.
Was there any choreographers or dancers that inspired you when you were young? Did you see like a musical, a movie, a TV show that like flipped your lid?
100%. Yeah, like the top people that I can really say is like Keone Madrid. He's like amazing.
Yeah.
The Kinjas, Jabberwockies,
The Jabberwockies, right on.
all of these different groups,
Yeah.
and they're all, they're Asian descent. They
Yeah.
are people that I look to and I was like, they're doing it. I can do it. They look like, I had that resonation with them, and it really inspired me to just kind of keep pushing.
And now you're cognizant of the fact that there's some 10-year-old right now watching you thinking, man, I can do it. Does that put
I pray
pressure
for
on
that.
you?
No, I don't think there's ever any pressure. I think that we all make mistakes. We all kind of like go through our own thing. And I think that living in fear also hinders. So I kind of like, I stay true to myself. I feel like I have a good moral system behind me now that
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not making bad decisions or whatnot. So I don't have really much fear of that. I just hope to like do more of inspiring others. That's my goal.
I'm 55 years old. I probably have about 1/10 of the community that you've built, and it's overwhelming to me at 55, right? I can handle the haters out there. I probably better than a 22-year-old, but it's still overwhelming the amount of attention that I get,
Yeah.
and I run, a big sports agency. So you're talking Steve Young, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. So I've been around world famous people with bigger communities than ours, but I can't imagine, as I watch young people like you that are so successful and popular, how that impacts your life where, invariably if you go out to eat, someone's going to want your picture. When you're walking on the street, someone's going to try to stop you. A lot of kids can't go to college because they really can't focus because everybody wants something from them.
Yeah.
Have you had to deal with that type of attention and
Definitely.
bleeding?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I had to go through my motions of like knowing who's using me versus who's actually there for, that believe in the dream that I have. I've went through the amount of hate on social media because of the things I've done. Like I've went through a lot of it, and I've kind of like I guess it is a very tough mental battle in social media because a lot of people, when it's your livelihood,
hurt people.
Yeah, and when people are making social media their livelihood, it kind of makes them shift their values of themselves because they place their value on the numbers that they get too, and that was something that I had to like really take my mind off of because it was very negative, toxic, and a lot of these influencers do that. And I think that if you don't kind of have that mindset to kind of like know that doesn't define who you are, I guess it can be very hard.
Do you think you have more friends or less friends because of social media?
Definitely less.
Yeah.
Definitely less, for sure.
It's weird. I told you I'm older, but I told my wife the other day, it's amazing, like I have less friends. I know more people. I have more acquaintances. Like,
Yeah.
You and I will be, like, Gary Vaynerchuk's one of my good friends.
Yeah.
But he jokes around. He's like, Dave's my best friend. And I'm like, dude, you got to get better friends. He goes, I just don't have that many, dude. Right? And so it's kind of funny. Does that ever make you feel lonely, though? Because I know, like, at your age, it's so important to have a lot of friends.
Yeah. I think I went through it, and I think I'm okay with having good experiences and moments with people.
Yeah.
I think that you should always like show love. I think that you just know where you have to draw the line, because I have my good close set of family and friends, very small, but I know because they've been there since the beginning. I can tell now, who I can kind of let in more compared to who not to. So, it is nice to have a solid group of friends, and it is nice to be able to interact with a lot of people, but I mean, yeah, it is true that it just naturally separates. I don't know why. Whether it's
the thing I see the
or,
most.
Yeah.
And people like, Charlie D'Amelio, Ellie Zeiler, Dan, all these kids, that I get to mentor a little bit. I think that's the number one, separation thing that's weird for them is like, it's just difficult to have that kind of college experience or 20s experience, that you see on TV with friends.
Yeah.
You're like a whole group of people. Let's just all go out and do this.
100%.
There's always some calculated strategy involved. Now, mentorship. I will tell people when they ask me how did you lose all that money, I'll say I didn't ask for help. Today, do you ask people for help? Are you looking and seeking people?
Definitely.
In different professions?
Yeah, 100%. I think whenever I have, like, even at these conferences, like, I come less for the talks and more for, like, the interactions I have with other, like-minded people, because
Yeah.
like I learn from them. I just had a talk with the creator of a really successful app, Pixart.
Yeah.
And I was asking him, like, so, like, how was your journey, like, different things, because, like, if I'm getting into that, I want to learn from people that are in the position that I want to be in.
Beautiful.
So I've always been big on mentorship and all of that stuff. And even when I didn't have that around me, that's where podcasts came in. I would always listen to, like, I would listen to the Gary Vee podcast. I would listen to, which one was it? Tom Bilyeu.
Yeah,
loved
all my
his
friends.
podcast.
Yeah. Ed Milet.
Yeah, there was a lot of them that I just kind of, like, absorbed myself around, even if they weren't in person. Just kind of consuming that because of the internet allowed me to really grow a better mindset with it all.
Now you can listen to the playbook, right?
Yo, 100%.
About 1,550 episodes. Pick your favorite person, including yourself. There's plenty to learn from there. That's the purpose of this Napoleonic Hill type of venture for you. Now I'm going to ask one last question. Normally, like I said, I'm older, so people ask me, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self? And I always say ask for help.
Yeah.
Because it's something I didn't do enough of, and it's the easiest way to get to where I want to be. As you stated, find someone who's in a situation I want to be in and ask them for help, which is why I built the playbook. I'm going to ask you the inverse question.
Okay.
What would you like to say to your 55-year-old self?
Oh, wow. To my 55-year-old self.
Yeah, what would you say to your 55-year-old self?
I just hope that you stick to your dreams and your desires, and that you kept the right people around your life, and you fought for what was important to you.
It's pretty wise, man. I think this is one of your many lives, and I have recorded that, so I'll have some great content for when you're 55. We'll do a collab.
Amazing.
I'll be like 80 or 89 or 90, but it'll be a killer collab.
Dope.
Maybe we'll meet back here in Toronto and do a special episode.
Oh, man.
Or
hey.
it'll probably be a hologram, so we won't have to travel, right?
That's hilarious. Maybe, yeah. I'm all up for it.
Be what you can be. You only limit yourself. Make sure that you live your life like Michael Lee. You'll never overachieve your own self-image. A story of success to empower others, the incredible Michael Lee. Here at Collision, this is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.